Hello, student. Very good morning to all of you. I hope you all are happy, healthy, and fine at home. So, today is the what we can call it as the first lecture or begin of the semester number 4. You are at arriving at the last semester. So this is your fourth semester, and after successful completion of that fourth semester, you everyone is going to get the graduation is a BSc degree in chemistry. So let us let us begin with what we are going to learn at this semester. So you are in a TYBSc, right? Now TYBSc CH343. Look at the CH, that is it is your course number again 343. What does it indicate? The 3 stand for third year, fourth means fourth semester, and third again last letter 3 indicate as a third paper. As we know that this is our third paper. As we know that at a TYBSc level there are the 6 papers. You know that paper number first CH341 is called as a physical chemistry. CH342 is the inorganic chemistry, and now is a 343 is a organic chemistry, 344 analytical chemistry, 345 is a 345 will be the 345 will be the 345 will be the industrial chemistry. And the last one, what is the last one? Last one is I think 3E43, that is a fourth semester, that is a elective paper. E stand for elective paper, that is I think in a first semester you have learned agriculture chemistry. Now this semester you are going to learn as a dairy chemistry. So at this semester I am going to teach again as a organic chemistry, that is a semester number 4, and this is the syllabus for 2020-21 pattern. Again is a 2015 refer as a, if the book suppose as a textbook, those are the student, common student, you can refer for studying this chemistry as a pattern 2015. That is all the syllabus included in that, and this syllabus is introduced at a TYBSc level, Savitribai Phule Pune University Pune, from June 2015 still now we are in at 2020-21. This may be as a last syllabus, because next year onward you are at a TYBSc level, the syllabus is going to get changed. After 5 years the syllabus is normally go on changing. So remember, this is your syllabus at this semester. So remember, here pattern is 2015, so you can refer the previous question paper, the nature of that question paper, and from that you will get as a whole idea the weightage of how much weightage are given to those respective chapters. So for completion of this whole syllabus required as a 48 lecture. 48 L indicate as a lecture, number of lecture allotted to complete the syllabus at this semester is a 48. So we are bound, and the teachers are bound to complete the syllabus within a 48 lecture, but generally they require more than 48 lectures. So by taking as a extra lectures, we are bound to complete the syllabus within a that particular period of time. So let us see here chapter wise what are the, how many chapters are there and how many lectures are to be required to complete that syllabus. So at the beginning I already told you that after getting as a BSc degree you have a wide variety of opportunity in front of you. So you and these, as far as organic chemistry is concerned over here, it is much useful, because for those are the students willing to take higher education, generally as a MSc. There are different branches are there after getting as a BSc, like as a MSc organic chemistry, purely organic chemistry, then next maybe as analytical chemistry, then inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, biochemistry, drugs chemistry. So these are the different branches are there. So the, in a different way you are going to learn the different chemistry. But here most of the students prefer to select the chemistry particularly as organic chemistry, and those want to go for only in industries, they can select as those are the interested to do the work in various pharmaceutical industries, or what we can call it as in a chemical industry. They get the opportunity there to work, and you will be, your future will be bright there in that industry. So that is depending on how the skill you are using, you are going to apply your fundamental knowledge there, so that you will get your upgradation, or what we can call it as a successful in your whatever goal you are willing or you are putting in front of you, you trying to achieve that goal very. And those are the students, those want to learn research again as for higher education. Those want to go for abroad, means in the foreign, by doing as a research, like as a PhD. Various opportunities are there. You will get as a different scholarship if you clear here, even though as a GRF or net or SET, then you can you are eligible for delivering a lecture like us, or those are getting GRF Junior Research Fellowship, they can take as a higher education like as a PhD along with their stipend. So you can achieve that one, and you can, after that you may go for abroad, or you may become as a scientist in future. So that are the opportunity. After the graduation BSc degree, there in many government sector, there are some national laboratories are there. You can apply there as a chemist, as an assistant, lab assistants over there. So there are the wide opportunities, are those who willing to go do the MPSc, UPSC also. There are a lot of opportunities are there. So you are eligible to give those very toughest, what we can call it as a exam. So you are going to get, you can achieve. So this I hope you all are you get successful completion of this BSc, and you will get the opportunity according to their willing. I wish you the very best of luck for that, and let us see our chapter wise syllabus over here. There is a Carbanion and their reactions. It requires a 6 lectures. Carbanion and their reactions. Now what do you mean by the Carbanion? You are quite familiar with the carbocations still today. Now carbocation means what? The organic compound or the carbon atom carrying positive charge, that type of the species are called as a carbocation. Now opposite of it, or vice versa, the carbon carries negative charge, that type of the organic species are called as a Carbanion. And what are the named reaction, what are the types of the generation of Carbanion, and what type of the some of the famous reaction taking place via Carbanion or through Carbanion. So that type of the reaction, if you might have heard in your SY/BSc aldol condensation, and that aldol condensation is mainly taking place through Carbanion, and so that kind of the reaction we are going to learn here. So this is the total scenario of this, and there we are going to learn, and so we will try to complete this chapter within the 6 lectures. Now look at the chapter number 2. The chapter number 2 will be retrosynthetic analysis and its application. Retrosynthetic analysis, as far as my knowledge is concerned, you are new to this word, retrosynthesis. Retrosynthesis means what? This is a new word, is introduced at TY/BSc level. So this is a purely organic chemistry, whatever. So here let me tell you basic concept over here. What do you mean by the retrosynthetic analysis? Retrosynthesis means what? What are the important terminology involved in the retrosynthetic analysis? And after that we are going to take only few, I think 4 or 5 example, so that it will clear only one functional group interconversion we are going to take over here. So retrosynthesis means what? Retrosynthesis, an imaginary but logical reverse chemical reaction which help us to reach the reaction starting from the starting material, is known as a retrosynthesis. This is exactly opposite the forward reaction. So we are going backward, so that type of the reaction is known as a retrosynthesis reaction. And now there we are using as a retrosynthetic analysis, that is half part. So retrosynthetic analysis means what? The process of breaking down the target molecule into convenient starting material by using disconnection and FGI is known as a retrosynthetic analysis. And that is a retrosynthetic analysis, is one of the important terminology used while studying this retro or disconnection approach. This one or the perspective we are talking about as a different term or the aspect of this retrosynthetic analysis. And here you have heard while studying as a retrosynthetic analysis, TM. TM means nothing but as a target molecule. Target molecule means what? The molecule whose synthesis being planned is called as a target molecule. So this is a one word is used over there. And after that you know that what is that? Synthetic equivalent. Synthetic equivalent means what? Or the before that is a synthon. Not our synthon is not the soap like this. So synthon is a word which is used in retrosynthetic analysis. Synthon means what? It is associated with the polarities. Means after the disconnection of that target molecule, whatever positive or the negative type of the species are generated or obtained or derived, that type of the species are known as a synthon. And now after that synthetic equivalent. What do you mean by the synthetic equivalent? Synthetic equivalent, the function, synthetic equivalent is nothing but as a function carrying out the function of synthon is known as a synthetic equivalent, or the reagent which carrying out the function of synthon is called as a synthetic equivalent. So that synthon are the with the help of suitable example we will see that one. Then again use as a reagent. You might be knowing these word from your 11th standard reagent. But what exact definition of the reagent? Reagent means what? The compound which react to give an intermediate or the target molecule itself is known as a reagent. And then after that we are using the word like as a FGI. FGI means, or before that there is a D, means disconnection approach, sometimes it is referred as. And what does it mean? Disconnection means what? Analytical operation which break a bond and convert a molecule into a possible starting material is known as a disconnection, and it is one of the very important step used in the retrosynthetic analysis. And the last one is a FGI. FGI, full form of that FGI is a functional group interconversion. Functional group interconversion means what? One of the functional group is converted into another so that disconnection becomes possible, is known as a functional group interconversion. So these are type of the main terms we are going to use over there in the while studying as a retro. It is a very creative, imaginary, innovative idea you are going to get, and you are going to why the researchers are doing their research by because the retro, by doing all these things, strategies on a paper, you can start your work in a future, and its application where it is applied. So with the help of the examples we will see its application. For example is suppose cyclohexanol, how we can prepare that cyclohexanol in the laboratory, or let us see simplest one is cyanohydrin. Cyanohydrin is a target molecule that can be prepared from propanaldehyde. Propanaldehyde can be prepared from propene, or propene can be prepared from propane. So that type of the thing we are going to application, we are going to learn there. Then next one is a rearrangement reaction, and you are familiar with this word rearrangement. Here we are going to see some of the famous rearrangement reaction, like as I think you might have heard about the Huffman rearrangement, right? So that kind of the reaction here is a Claisen rearrangement reaction. So that type of the reaction, rearrangement reaction means the orientation of the atom in a space, how they, while during that reaction, while carrying out the reaction, how the atoms are specifically rearranged and formation of the product is obtained. So that is called as a rearrangement reaction. And next one is a very important. Look at there, here the from chapter number 4 to chapter number 8 all are the spectroscopy. What does spectroscopy means? What? The simplest definition of spectroscopy, let me tell you over here. The interaction of electromagnetic radiation with matter is known as a spectroscopy. That's it. Means what is that? Again I am repeating here the definition of the spectroscopy. The interaction of electromagnetic radiation with matter is known as a spectroscopy. There are the different type of the electromagnetic radiation. The lights are like as here. So in the introduction part we are going to see the how the different regions are there, in what region what kind of the radiation or the light get absorbed, how it is studied, what on the basis of this, how what are the derivation, like that is how what are the terms involved here, like as lambda wavelength, energy, then what we can call it then velocity, frequency, amplitude. So these are the terms we are going to see at the introductory part. Then ultraviolet spectroscopy, sometimes shortly it is known as a ultraviolet spectroscopy. Ultraviolet spectroscopy, and these the main application of this spectroscopy to determine the unknown structure of the organic compounds. That is the main application of this spectroscopy, because we know that if there are the two different methods are there, suppose you know the set of properties of the organic molecule, we can easily predict its structure, or if we know the correct structure of the organic compound, and we can able to determine its physical properties as well as chemical property by knowing that structure. Means structure activity relationship, from that we can very easily understood its physical properties as well as chemical properties, and by knowing its property we can use whether it is act as a which exhibit or which shows the biological activities or not. If it is shows what kind of the activities they are showing, so that type of the thing we can get. So that's the main objective or the aim of this spectroscopy. So ultraviolet spectroscopy, mainly here just remember what kind of the information we are getting from that ultraviolet spectroscopy. It is mainly gives the information regarding as a carbon-carbon double bond. As we know that the organic compound the containing mainly as a carbon-carbon double bond. If suppose that double bond is whether it is in the conjugation or it is in an isolated form, means that the stereochemistry, it provide the information about stereochemistry as well as it provide the information about the structure of that whether it is a trine or diene, like that. By using, there is one rule we are going to learn, Woodward-Hoffmann rule. By using that rule we are going to calculate, we are going to derive some expression. By using that expression or some rule we are going to calculate the lambda max, that wavelength. So that is called as Woodward-Hoffmann rule. For there are the two systems normally at TYBSc level. One is a diene system and second one is a enone system. What kind of the organic part is called as a diene system, and what type of the organic part is called as a enone system? Which rule we are going to how the Woodward and Hoffmann provided some certain rules are there. By following that rule we are going to calculate that lambda max. So that type of the thing we are going to learn over there. Then next one is the infrared spectroscopy. The short form of that infrared spectroscopy is nothing but the IR spectroscopy, and it is again is a very important terminology or the spectroscopy used. I already told you that these spectroscopy are used to determine the unknown structure of the organic compound. So but similar to as ultraviolet spectroscopy, what type of the information it provide to the organic chemist? Mainly the ultraviolet spectroscopy provide, or it is sometimes referred as a functional group. And as we know that functional group means what? And most of the organic compound, number of organic compound containing as a functional groups are there. Functional group means what? The atom or group of atom that determine the physical as well as chemical property of a particular family of the organic compound is known as a functional group, or we can call it as in short the site of reaction. Site of reaction means what? In general, whenever we are adding as a reagent, the part of the organic compound go on changing, so that type of the thing is called as a functional group. So changes are occur at a particular part of that organic compound. So look, suppose as a carbonyl group, or what we can call it as a hydroxy group, OH group, and OH group gives the IR value, IR frequency near about as a 3200 to 3600 per centimeter. Clearly indicate that the chemist, by interpreting that spectra, analyzing that spectra, they can easily find out whether that OH is group is present over there or not. So that type of the information we are getting from the IR spectroscopy. And next one is a PMR spectroscopy. PMR, it is one of the best technique for determine the correct structure of the unknown structure of the organic compound. PMR, the full form of PMR means proton magnetic resonance. Sometimes it is referred as a nuclear magnetic resonance. Remember here, nuclear magnetic resonance. Sometimes it is referred as a NMR. NMR means nuclear, N stand for the nuclear magnetic resonance. Nucleus of what? Nucleus means nothing but as a proton, and that proton never in a naked form, or it is not the alone here. It is always along with some other atom, like as a water molecule, suppose there it is bonded with that oxygen, means there is that proton we are, or suppose as a methane molecules are there, means that proton hydrogen atom get associated with that hydro or ethanol. So that type of the we are going to when the radio waves applying trying to that nucleus, the changes are occurred upon depending upon the what type of the environment that proton has, and as we know that, so on that basis we are going to learn, we are getting as a complete correct structure by NM, because suppose as a ethyl alcohol, ethyl chlorides are there, ethyl chloride, number of proton atom there, we know that CH3, CH2 and the Cl. Now CH2, this methylene proton are different than methyl proton. CH3 3 protons are there, CH2 2 protons are there, and around them is a different chemical environment, and therefore they are chemically different or chemically non-equivalent, and therefore they give the different signal. One signal due to the methylene and one signal due to the methyl group, and the methylene is a de-shielded and methyl is a slightly shielded. Why that? Because corresponding or adjacent to that methyl group there is a chlorine atom, and that chlorine atom introduce the inductive effect, means polarization, and that's why that polarity and the tendency of that chlorine atom is attract the electron density toward themselves, and that's why that molecule becomes as a polar, and the whatever hydrogen present on that methylene group, they becomes as a de-shielded. So in this way that is happening over there, and that type of the study we are going to learn here. It is very very important one as far as exam point of view is concerned, as well as for your higher study. Those are going to take admission or willing to do the MSc in any field. So it is very very important that for NMR spectroscopy. And next one is chapter number 8, problem based on UV, IR and PMR. UV stand for ultraviolet, IR means infrared, and PMR. Combining all these, and we are going to solve number of problem there, and once you are practice it, it is very very easy. You will get out of mark here as far as this spectroscopy, even though it is new to you, but once you learn this, it's a very very interesting and the very what we can powerful technique for the determination of the organic compound, and that's why it is a very way. And by using those all these information whatever we are going to learn on these three spectroscopic method, we are going to apply here, and we are going to solve the problem there. And last one, chapter number 9, is a natural product, and as we know that natural means from nature we can extract or we can obtain. We are getting as a some time of different compound where they are naturally, but that sources are very limited. So that compound, that natural products exhibiting, showing some medicinal properties are there, and that compound the scientists are finding the how we can prepare that compound, natural compound, actually in the laboratory by using the different starting material which are easily available, readily available. So we can prepare these compound in a large amount that will be benefit to the how we determine. So what are the technique? Suppose as a molecular formula, saturation, unsaturation, whatever chemical tests we have learned in practical, during the practical, theory also we have learned in our third semester. Now here we are going to actually going to apply over there how we can determine the site of unsaturation, and finally arriving at the natural product, and that we are going to synthesize. I think one is a citral, and with that citral, a class of that where it from where it is isolated, and how we can actually synthesize in the laboratory, and where we can use this one perfume terpenoids or some of the terpenes. So that type of the thing we are going to learn at this chapter. And for this reference book, those are the common student, they can use the book which is which book you can use over here, the textbook. Mainly there are the different publications are there. So like as a Manali publication, Nirali publication, Prashant publication, or other some publications are there, but out of that you can prefer those are the common student, they can prefer to use the Manali publication. So it is one of the, I think, best. And another, those are the advanced student, they can use some of the different organic, the very good book like as organic chemistry, which is Morrison Boyd. It's a very good book for as far as this organic chemistry is concerned. The next one is Organic Chemistry by Claydon. It is a beautiful book. The language and everything is a simple, and you can understood is a very easily. So that is a very good book. Again, for retrosynthetic analysis, you can use as a retrosynthetic analysis or retrosynthetic approach. The book which is written by, I think, Stuart Warren. It is a very good book for you can use for this particular chapter. And then for spectroscopy, introduction to spectroscopy, ultraviolet, infrared, PMR spectroscopy, for that you can use one Pavia book. Is a very good book, or Silverstein, or these are the different books for NMR spectroscopy you can use. And the last, for a natural product, there you can use as a classical synthesis in total synthesis. I think that classics in Nicholas, that book you can which is given in the reference book also. So you can use different books. So tomorrow we are going to start as a chapter number 1, that is carbanion and their reaction. I think with this, let us stop today here. Thank you. Have a nice day.